Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are looking at the YieldMax announcements that were released on 7th of May 2025. The groups that are affected for this video will be their weekly groups and their Group D. What we'll be covering is brief disclaimer, some background information, review of this week's affected YieldMax groups, the weekly and Group D as I discussed before, show my updated dividend calculations based on this latest YieldMax announcement, and go over the action items based on that information. As a brief disclaimer, investing involves the risk of loss. This video is not meant to be financial advice, and other than owning the ETFs presented in this video, I have no affiliation with the companies that issued them. So, some background information. There's a company called YieldMax, and they release several high-yielding dividend ETFs. The groups that I own personally are the weekly ETFs, Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. The weekly ETFs, self-evidently, are paid out weekly. Group A is paid out every 4 weeks, and it's a rotating schedule. So Group A will be 1 week, Group B the next week, Group C the next week, and Group D the next week after that. And that's why they're every 4 weeks. YieldMax makes announcements regarding their high yield dividend ETFs on Wednesdays. Well, so far, it may change, but that's generally the way it works now. This week's YieldMax ETF announcement is focused on their weekly ETFs and their Group D ETFs. So, let's go to the announcement right now. This is today's announcement. YieldMax announces their distributions for basically the weeklies, and these are the stocks. See, there's some of the stocks that are involved in their Group D, and you can see that right here. Weekly pairs and Group D ETFs. So what they're saying here in this announcement is that if you own, let's say GPTY, then they're going to give you a per share distribution of 27 cents, roughly 27 cents, and that's a weekly payer. And then for the every 4 weeks, which would be the Group D stuff, is down here. So one of the things that I did when I started investing was I didn't know what to invest, so I scattershot and bought a bunch of, hey, this pays a dividend. Then I realized that you can be more efficient with that as far as buying, and then also how you get the money for the dividends and how to reinvest them. So this is the table, and I'm going to now show you what I own over here. These are the ones that I own. So I'm going to move the weekly ETFs, or the announcement over, and that way I can start putting in the information here. So one thing, I have only, these are the weekly YieldMax ETFs that I own. I do not own their newest one, which is CHPY, but I do own the other ones. And eventually I will buy CHPY, but I just haven't had time to buy it. Once I put this information into the computer or into the Excel spreadsheet, it'll tell me what I need to do afterwards. So one of the things to realize here on the spreadsheet is these are the ETFs that were announced today, Group W and Group D. These are the shares that I own in them, okay? And this is the annual dividend that I want. It's not, when people tell you to invest in dividend stocks, they don't tell you how much to put in or how to really do it. So what I came up with is from this weekly stock, I want $1,400 a year from it, which is roughly over $100. I started with $100 a month, which would be $1,200, but now I'm up to $1,400. And this will stay the same for 4-week cycle. And then I'll bump then I will bump it up $100 each month, or every cycle, which would be every 4 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 4 weeks. But for now, I've already bumped it up to $1,400 last week, and this week I'm going to bump up these stocks I want these goals. So I'm going to say copy, paste the formula. So what this is telling me, based on last week's dividend, or 4 weeks ago dividend, I need to buy this money. I have additional costs in order to get to the $1,400. And these are the number of shares I need to buy. But this is old information. So we've got new, we have the new numbers here. So I need to now input these numbers into the spreadsheet, and that'll tell me how many I need to get. So for GPTY, the latest, also the data that you get for the dividends is important. As you can see here, I'm keeping my own record of dividends, and I'm using that as an average, because if the average is lower than the latest dividend, then I want to use the average to calculate how many more shares I need. Because my goal is to actually keep getting all of the amounts that I'm showing here. And if 1 month is bad, or one cycle is bad, then I need to be able to, I still want to get the same amount, and I may need to buy more shares. So without further ado, let's go with, if I wipe these out like that. So you can see the average. If I click there, you can see I get a bunch of problems. So let's go with the latest dividend for GPTY, which is 0.2738. Okay, perfect. So according to this, for GPTY, I need a lot more shares. I need another 110 more shares. Oh, no. The additional cost is zero, because I'm estimated to get almost $1,600. So that worked out great. That scared me for a second. All right, so let's go with LFGY, which is 0.7511. All right, again, no need to add any more money or buy more. For QDTY, we've got 0.2841. Okay, nothing there. And then next one is RDTY. This would be 0.46634. Boom. All right, good. Again, so wow, so the dividends really went up a lot compared to before, and it's great because that's making it so that my averages, if there's a downturn in the market, it won't affect me as much. But anyway, let's go to SDTY, 0.2714. Yay! Oh wow. Okay, that's a lot. Are things just going up? I don't understand what's going on here. UTLI, which a lot of people got upset with because it went from a monthly payer in one of those groups to now being a weekly payer, and it did affect it a bit. YMAG, 0.059. All right, and the last one is YMAX, is 0.1679. So great, I don't have to add any money or buy more shares for any of these because I've already reached my $1,400 per year in dividends for each one of them. Now, let's try the Group D stuff. Now, this stuff I am definitely going to need to add money to it. And I'll go over action items later on as to how that affects us. So first one is AIYY, which is are giving out 0.3245. Okay. Oh, because the dividend is so high, I don't have to actually add any shares to that. All right. That's. Now this might change when I change the averages. So let's keep that in mind. 0.7963. Okay. So for this one, I need to add 10 shares to this based on this calculation, and we'll update the average here in a second. Maybe I don't. I'm showing I'm going to get $1,395 and my goal is 1,400 here. So this is less than this, therefore I need to add shares. And I don't like doing specific number of shares. I round up to the nearest 10. Assuming I'm successful at this, hopefully it'll be 100 shares, because I don't like dealing with tens either. But for now, that's the way the math works out. Okay, next one is Aptly, which is 0.85. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, I'm sorry, 0.65. 1.2. All right, again, oh, do not have to add new shares to that. Happy to see that. So next one is Diso or Diso, which is basically based on Disney. I'll have links to all the websites below, so that you can see what these are actually investing in order, and what they're based on. All right, don't have to buy any more Diso. Okay, how about Misty? Oh wow, Misty went skyrocketing. What the? Okay, you know, a month ago I was crying. Because the stock market went down so much, I was losing our value. That it's nice to see that things are on the rebound. All right. Oh, okay. So here's a classic example. SMCY. I need to add shares to it because I'm below the 1,400 goal that I want. Again, so keep that in mind, and I'll show you what I'll do for that in a second. There's a winter. And that is the option income strategy. It's the short of Misty. Okay, so I don't own that yet, and I don't know if I'm going to, because some of these are inverse ETFs, and again, you need to go to YieldMax's website to read up on each one of them and do some research on them if you're going to do this. But some of them are inverses, and doesn't mean you're necessarily going to lose money because if a stock goes up, that it's based on, but you're not going to make as much. So again, investing involves risk, and you got to know what you're investing in. So WNTR is one that I might buy, but for now I don't own it, and I really don't have time right now to buy it because I've got other things going on, and like making this video to see how things work out. So next one is XYZY. I remember when this changes its name, and I go, hey, what happened to my stock? And they're like, oh, it changed names. And I went, oh, that's crazy. Again, another example of I need to put more money into it and buy more shares. And the next one is YQQQ. Oh, no, sorry. Next one is YQQQ. It's 0.4357. Again, need to add more shares to that. And that's another inverse. That's a short N100 option income strategy ETF. If the N100 market is going up, I think that's the NASDAQ 100. If it's going up, this is the inverse of that. It does well if the N100 is going down, but since it's going up and the market's kind of recovering, it's a problem. So what I want to do now is I want to make a copy of these into, this is the day. Then like I said, I'm making my own database. I want these to eventually, let's see, copy. I'm making my own database of the ETF or the dividends that are out, because sometimes Schwab doesn't give you the correct information. So paste that. Oh, I like that better. So let's copy and bam. Now what that did was it changed the averages here. So let's undo. All right. Okay, you can see those numbers there. Let's do that. Okay, paste. So let's the average is 0.246. So if I paste again, see all the little numbers changed. So copy and paste. Keep an eye on the 0.300077. Paste it. All the numbers change a little bit. So by doing that, It did change that I don't only need to put this much more in, because some of the calculations that I'm doing ended up being correct. The way I do the dividends is this is an if-then statement. If the average is less than the latest, then I will use the latest, and it will automatically I'll get the goal that I want. I'm having a hard time describing this, but it works out. Like I said, my goal is to get at least $1,400 for this stock, and I will do that either using the latest or the average, and I take the lesser of the two. So you can see the if statement there. If the latest is less than the average, use the latest. If the average is less than the latest, then use the average. Either way, by updating the average, it actually it's telling me I'm going to make the over 1,400, and you can see it down here. When I highlighted before that I wasn't going to get that much, you can see where I am going to get more. Like I still need to buy X, Y, Z, Y, and I still need to buy Y, XXX, and YMCY. But there was another one up here that I needed to buy more of, and it's not there anymore because the average went up, which means I'm going to get at least the 1,400. All right, sounds confusing, I understand, but you saw what happens. So this is what I need to do. I need to buy 10 shares of, I need to buy 10 shares of SMCY, 40 shares of XYZY, and I need to buy 10 shares of YQQQ in order to get the 1,400. And then with that being said, my total for the annual total should be somewhere around almost 35,000, which is fantastic because before I did this update, it was only 31,000. So you can go back to the in the video and see that. That's quite amazing. So anyway, let's save this. So there's my, let's go to the action items here. So action items, in order to reach my latest dividend goals, I need to make some additional share purchases into my account. And I just showed you that. I'll show them to you again. Right here, I need to buy these shares for each one, this number of shares for each one in order to reach the goal. I'm going to use the cash that I've got previous to today, using the same groups. So the weeklies and group C, A, B, and C, I'm now going to be putting in here. The high yield dividend payouts should be reflected in my account according to YieldMax, they'll be paid on the 9th of May. And so I'll do an update video then to show you guys that it actually went in there. Links to YieldMax and their announcements are in the description below. It's hard to find their announcements sometimes. Sometimes you got to go to the website. Sometimes there's what I show this announcement. Sometimes they put it on Twitter, and they also put it on this thing called Global Newswire up there. So I'll have a link in the description so that you can find out where that table is. So, and also the links to other YouTubers that I follow, and how they got me into finding this stock. Please subscribe, please comment, like, and subscribe for more of these videos like this, and I will see you on Friday. Thanks.